Going on, everybody? Just giving some folks time to get up in here real quick before I get started. But as always, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Comment where y'all from. Comment any charts you want me to look at. Good, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got y'all, man. But yeah, anybody that is up in here right now at the moment, we can go over a couple of things. We don't got no earnings to worry about. So, well, you probably do, but I ain't too concerned. Most of our stocks had earnings already. I may look at the earnings report and see at least when Nvidia reporting. I could look that up actually on here. And then who else report at the end of the month? I think CrowdStrike reports at the end of the month also, or beginning of the month. But they typically Nvidia and CrowdStrike are two of the companies that kind of be laggards when they come to like big tech reporting. But again, I'm just giving folks a little time to get up in here. Anybody from the Discord, just comment, say what's up. Anybody that's new to the channel, say here. And anybody just come every Sunday basically when we do this quick little rundown of a couple of things I'm looking at and a couple of things y'all want to look at. You could just comment the number one. It don't even really matter. Just everybody show some love, put a comment in the chat, and we about to go ahead and kick this thing off. But before we do that, let me go ahead also and put a link down below because we are currently running a 50% off discount to join the Discord. So I'm gonna drop that in the chat for y'all. All you gotta do is use promo code drop50, as you guys can see right there. I actually pinned this thing for y'all as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing first, we're gonna start off with the S&P 500 futures. A lot of y'all may know it as ES. And I believe last week's live or a couple weeks before that, I was anticipating. I'm not gonna say I was anticipating the drop, and we on the 1 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour. I'm not gonna say that I was. Matter of fact, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, that looked better. Oh, and that MACD is super extended. So I mean, we are granted a pullback. With a move like this to the upside, we are definitely granted a pullback. And as you can see, or not as you can see from the last live stream that we had last week, I had stated if we, let's go to the 2 hour, get a better view. So I had stated if we lost 64.60, or ideally even 64.68, then I seen us coming to retest that 64.42. And let's go back to this on the 2 hours. So I'm not even going to go all the way back to last week, which is actually not even that far. It's about right here. So as you see, we were sitting on top of that 64.68 area. And I say if we happen to lose that area, we had to hold 64.60. That really was the area to hold. Otherwise, I was expecting us to pull back to 64.42. Now, as you see, we went way lower than 64.42 on the ES, and we came all the way down to this zone here to that 63.75 area. We had a couple of wicks, as you can see right here. I tell you guys all the time, I am not an artist, so don't come at me or whatever with my drawings or whatever. I'm here to get y'all the technicals and all that. So, as you can see, we pulled back to an area that I was not expecting. We went way past the 64, 42. So after Powell came and spoke on this trading day here on Friday, if you guys notice, matter of fact, I'll go to the 30-minute. I posted this in the Discord already. But if you look on the 30-minute, we held that 6400 zone to a T. And we rejected right off that 64.27, as you guys can see right here, this whole candle. Right here, the first 30 minutes. And then when Powell came and spoke at 10 a.m. when he came right here, you see this big volume spike right here on the 30-minute as it opened up right on top of where this candle closed. And we went immediately to this 30-minute candle to that 64.83. And then we held right here on that 64.68. So in this coming week, again, I'm not saying we're going to pull back, but a pullback is granted. And what I am noticing right now is that we held that 64, 60, 76, but my area to really hold above, I believe it's like 64.78, right about here. And I only remember that due to the simple fact of the way price action was on the ES. Now, if we go to the NQ, that one there is obviously different. We're going to go to the 2 hour. And as a matter of fact, let's go to the 4 real quick. So as you see on the 4 hour, we were respecting this trend. Let's zoom out a bit, actually. We was respecting this trend right here for the most part. I didn't extend it once we kind of lost it. I may extend it later on this week, but as you guys see, we came down to that trend line and we held here. Now, also back then on that Sunday, I believe I was saying how we had to stay above 23.8. If we lost 23.8, which you see right here, we actually did that following night, and we could not get back above. The area that I was had next to stay above or test was at 23.615 to 23.620 on UNH. I mean UNH. Listen to me on the NQ. But you see here, we fell below, and this was way before Powell. And we fell below that trend line, but we kept reclaiming it. Let's zoom back in a little bit. As we fell below the trend line right there, we ended up reclaiming it in that same day, right about here. I don't know why my thing ain't working. Okay, what's going on with my arrow? Oh, let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. I think my computer's glitching. It's surely glitching. All right. Yeah, my computer is definitely glitching. So let's try this again. There we go. Let's see. I may end up having to actually let's bring this down. So as you see right here, my bad about that, folks. But as you see right here, on this same day right here, when we fell below the trend line, we reclaimed it right there. Then we fell below it again, and we closed below the trend line a couple of days, as you guys can see right about here. This whole area right here, we was closed below the trend line. But the day of Powell's speech, we actually ended up getting back above the trend line here on this first candle right here, this doji type of candle, right about there. We ended up getting back above the trend line, and then once again, 30-minute chart, just like the ES, we can move this out the way. Just like the ES, this candle right here on at 10 a.m. coincidentally was right about here and held above the area there on the NASDAQ. And we went right into our 23.6 area and rejected. So if we can not get back above that 23.6, then I mean I'm not gonna say I'm expecting to pull back. However, if the ES pulls back, it's a given that the NQ is going to pull back as well. And if we do not pull back, let's go back to at least the hour time frame, and I'll get rid of that right there. If we do not pull back, I would like to see us go back to at least 23.7, or let's just say 23. That's 772, 743. What's the top of this wick? And bottom, at least 23.730. That's going to be a line in the sand for me right now. So we can get back above 23.615 this week. Although I would like a pullback in order to go long, definitely maybe into that 23.4, as you can see right about there. Pull back into that area right here, possibly, and then get a bounce back higher above that 615. Come down, retest that area possibly, and then go and get above that 23.730. That will be nice to ultimately target at 23.8 to 23.810, and then get into that 23.844, 845 high that we had once before. So that's what I got for the ES and for the NQ. Now just go ahead, keep it moving. we're gonna just start with UNH, and we're gonna go to the 4 hour. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the daily real quick. No, I'll go back to the 4 and just reset it. That works. All right, so here on UNH, I went to short. I tried to short this thing a couple of times last week, and I got my butt handed to me, like for sure, for sure. When I say I got it handed to me, man, I got clapped on this thing right here. Not in a bad way. I think overall, I think I probably lost on my first trade. I think maybe like 12%. And then my following trade after that, I think was like another 8 to 10%, somewhere. I can't remember exactly, but either way, I took an L on both of these, trying to short back below this area here, and basically trying to be early and short the gap. Now, as you can see now, although the 50 SMA is curling upward into this range right here, um, the MACD looks as if it wants to cross below that signal line. And if it loses that signal line, that could be where the drop will come in. But at the same time, I'm also thinking with all the buying pressure, because every time this thing got pushed down, let's go back to the hour. Every time this thing went up and got pushed down, the buyers came in immediately. Got pushed down right here, and it rejected on top of this range. That's where I thought my short was going to come into play. And once it came down here, it just threaded the needle basically right there above that 294. And then buyer stepped in again, consolidated, buyer stepped in again. And now we got this little slight bull flag forming on the hour right in this range. I don't really want to call that a bull flag, but as you see, we trended down and then we popped right above this gap area right here of 305.90. We held that zone real well. And now let's go to the 30 minute. And now you see the 50 SMA is looking as if it wants to curl up, but that MACD is below the signal line as if it wants to cross down. However, if we do get a pop above that trend line this week, what I'll be looking for is a pop above, see how the retest goes. Depending on how the retest goes, then I would like to see us come back into that 315, if not 318 line in the sand. Because before this stock was being manipulated, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, before it was manipulated, in my opinion, I expected this stock to at least go back to the bottom of this Monday, May 12th gap down, which I think is around like it's around 342. What I really was expecting to see, hold on, y'all, I got to figure something out real quick. Where you going?
To the field with the Nets.
Oh,
Play soccer.
all right. Well, I was
Yeah.
just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what I mean? It's all late, man. But you know what I mean? Go do your thing, man.
Yeah.
Corner. He threw a soccer ball at me, and I forgot why we was on UNH. He put us on the VIX.
Okay.
I'll clean the baby. Yeah, y'all, my dog just peed all over the doggone rug. But anyway, and my son kind of threw off my charting. But back to what I was saying. I was targeting. I don't know if this is it right here. Yeah, it is it at 327. So I was expecting us to go to about 327, and that was a no go. So again, that's what I have for UNH. I'm just watching to see if we can get above this trend line. Let's go back to that 30 minute. Get above that trend line and then retest 315 to really at 318 and see what we get on UNH. Now, one that I have my eyes on in the Discord, I want to say maybe a week or so ago. Where is it? Yep, about a week ago. Let's go to the 4 hour. Once we came down here into this sniper fair value gap range and held it to a T, and then we got back above and held that area to a T, and we broke out right here on the 15th, I was like, yeah, this here is definitely on watch. And as you see, the MACD looks pretty good we had that little dip right here, but look at this wick bounce, this wick bottom right here on lift. And then now we are approaching my resistance area of 1717. I already jumped in. What did I jump in? I don't even remember what I jumped in. I jumped in. Um, let's see. I got this going. Let's do that. Even though I ain't really worried about give my people some love, but yeah, right here. I told them further dated the better, but this lift January 16th, $18 call. I didn't it was $1.78. Um, but I think I jumped in that. If not, I'm thinking I jumped into October. I'm not even too sure. Yeah, this the UNH put I got smoked on. I thought we was gonna get one for next week. I was trying to do a quick little scout. But yeah, this lift further dated the better and got this lift January 16th call. But I think I ended up getting in um October $18 call, maybe November. I can't remember. But anywho, so what I'm looking for on lift is I only got a light position because I do want to pull back to that line in the sand at 1665 and then to potentially go long on lift. That's what I liked on that one. Another one I'm liking I didn't put in the thing was Rocket Lab. And if my guy Arkansas up in here, let me know, bro, because I'm gonna go over Walmart. As soon as you tell me you're up in here in the chat, then I'm gonna go look at Walmart for you, my boy. But Rocket Lab, what I like on this one is we got the MACD. You already done came down and curled, but now it's attempting to go back green and go positive. So once the MACD starts to do this, and we break out above this trend line with price action, and definitely get above my line in the sand of 45.19, I will like Rocket Lab. You guys see when I was in the Discord, I had just posted an option play right there. Y'all getting free game, man. But at the end of the day, it is what it is because everybody eat. But I posted this $50 call for the 17th. I'm also looking at a $48 call as well, where you can see right there, other legs I'm watching $48 call for the same date, as well as another $50 call for December. But Rocket Lab is something that I definitely got my eyes on. Uh, what's going on, Robin? And what's going on, Arkansas? Man, that's what I'm talking about, man. I got my people from the Discord up in here showing you boys some love, man. If y'all don't mind, share this thing on Twitter or whatever. But at the same time, they gonna see it when they see it, man. So Rocket Lab, which my guy LR, who up in the chat, I mean, I'm gonna put some hearts with myself. I'm gonna put some 100s, some 100s with myself, cause my people up in here. But um, my guy LR, he the one that actually pointed out Rocket Lab way back here. He had mentioned it to me. He's like, "Yo, Flocka, what you think about Rocket Lab?" And I told him, I said, "Yo, we was in this range. Yep, April. We was in this range right here, bro. You probably remember." I'm like, "Yo, I like how this thing holding at 1765. It could get over $20. I said this thing is gonna be gone because I seen the MACD had crossed over the signal line and I seen this was an area right there that you can see was just a lot of resistance. And I did not jump in this, man. So shout out to my guy LR in the chat right now, because we're gonna go ahead and cover Oscar real quick. That's another banger that he brought up to the table. And you can see we've been on this thing, I think, again, since about April, maybe May. It was somewhere around here. And yeah, y'all see I've been charting this thing up like crazy on the intraday level. But we ain't gonna worry about that right now fully. Um, oh, no doubt, Robin or Pilot. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. You know what? I'm gonna call you RP. That's your name, Robin. Robin Pilot. I'll never know what. So I'm gonna call you RP. So I appreciate that, RP. But let's go ahead. Like I say, my guy, he brought Oscar to the table, and I just told him in the Discord about Oscar the other day on how this thing was looking primed. And if you guys are following the channel, the last video I made on Oscar, I said that even though it was somewhere up here around like $15, long as we held that 1429 to that 1470 area, I wasn't too concerned. And if we go down a little bit, look at the 30-minute time. We didn't even feel that gap all the way that I really wanted to do. That's 1467. But this right here is 1481. So we ain't even get to 1470 neither. But We held above these areas pretty nice. And what I'm looking for next on Oscar is us. I believe in the after hours it went above 17. I could be wrong, but what I want on Oscar is that we could get above this area right here, and we on the 30 minutes. Let's go to the 1 hour. And also, I'm probably going to change from the 50 SMA to the 20, only because I do a lot of scalping now, a lot more than I were doing at first. But that's because I be in the Discord a lot, so I don't really be having time to monitor my plays. But and this 50 look good, so I'm gonna keep the 50. But what I'm looking for on Oscar is us to, if we don't, but at the same time, I don't care. If we were to pull back, retest this area one more time, which I'm not saying that we will, but if we did do that, then I'm definitely going to go long. We get back around that 1597, and I'm going to go back up to the upside. But once we get above 1723 and hold that area and retest, I may do some long dated calls for $20 or $21. I may even do some short dated calls for 20. Now, anybody that likes to play in the money calls, a $15 call in the money, I believe, is going to be golden, especially if you get like some 2027 leaps on this thing right here, because I think once we get above 1723, and now I'm giving out free game. At the end of the day, again, everybody eats. So I don't care about giving out free game. But on Oscar, let's go back to the 4 hour. I want y'all to see something. I feel once we get back above that 1723, and this goes back to the first video I made on Oscar. Once we get back above 1723, in my eyes, we going to the 1815 immediately. And the reason why, when we had the big beautiful bill right here, that gap went, and this level was drawn up from all the other. Oh, my bad, y'all. Hold on, 1 minute. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. This level here was drawn up, and the reason why, let's matter of fact, let's go back to the daily. You see, this level was drawn up because it was the Thursday market close from the Juneteenth gap up, which I think was, yeah, right here. So we drew this level up, but after the big, beautiful bill came, let's go back to the 2 hour and let's slide back over. Once the big, beautiful bill came, we fell through that whole entire gap and we rejected right off of that 1815. So I feel once and if we hold above that 1815, we got a clear shot back to $20 for sure. And we got a clear shot back to this $20 for sure. And then after that, we got, like I say it's getting to 21. We get above 21 and mount 21, 2261, and then the list just goes on for out there. Now, since my guy, if he's still in here, let's do Walmart real quick. Now, Walmart, bro, this is around the area right here when we first was doing it. Looking at this back, I want to say in April. Yep, it was in April when we was curious about if it was gonna fall below and go to that $77 zone, and it didn't. It came down here, and then they immediately, I think they had good news back then, and this thing shot up on that same exact day. Ever since then, it went to this 96.23 area. So where we at now? Now after we, oh wow, I ain't even noticed. I ain't even noticed this area here neither. I haven't looked at Walmart in a while, bro. So what I see on Walmart is we got a couple of things going on. This MACD is looking terrible on the 4 hour. The daily, the MACD don't look that bad on the daily. So we never came back to none of these areas. So this right here, I'm about to update this, dog. I'm gonna update that to support. At least now. I may update a couple of these things. This may be a golden zone. You know, I'm not saying Walmart's gonna go back to $90, 89.12. I'm not gonna say I'm not saying Walmart's gonna go there, people. So don't be like, yo, he's bugging. Or also don't be like, yo, I'm gonna wait for $90. Because I'm not saying Walmart going back there. Not at all. But that could definitely be a golden zone. If not, did this gap ever fill? It kind of did. That's still a $90 area right there. But keeping it simple, keeping it brief, we got that 96.23 area, bro. If we do get, let's go, let's go to the 2 hour and let's slide this thing back. So that's that 93 zone, but we got a sniper fair value gap, even though we filled it a couple of times. So I don't even want to call it a fair value gap no more because it got this zone right here. If you notice, I'm gonna still draw it up real quick. So I want to go from I go from the body, and I'll show you why I went from the body of the candle. Go from the body. We go body to body. Yeah, we go body to body, right? And if y'all see my fair value gaps, I do not do any fib retracements. I could or whatever, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I never really mastered it down. And once I tried, it went against my way of my setups and my way of trading. So I want you guys to do what worked for you. Don't do what everybody else do in a sense. I just want y'all to do what work for you. But LR, if you still in the chat, my boy, which I believe you probably is, you know what I mean? If you are, so we had this gap right here. Now we got this area of illiquidity because even though we had price action there, it's not really much candles. There's a lot of wicks and it's thin. But when we get to this range, we got a lot of wicks as well, but we kind of got so those are that's the whole area. And we got a whole bunch of wicks right here, but we got a couple of candles right here. So that's the reason why I'm not really calling this a sniper fair value gap anymore, but it is an area of interest. And then now I'm gonna show you why. The reason why that's an area of interest for me personally, not saying that we're gonna lose the 96.23 also, but if we do, because the market did go crazy after Powell basically pumped the market. If you look, you will see the bottom of this candle right here. Back on this day, the bottom of that candle is also this whole zone right here that we got as well. Look at all of that right there was basically equivalent to this gap right here or to this candle right here. And then if we move further, as that was a support there basically, but it was a resistance here, so there was an SR flip right here. It became support again. So that 94, 91, or $95 area, like you said, I think you said in the Discord, bro, you were spot on. 95 to 96 for me on Walmart is a potential good area to jump in at. Now, if that area does lose, I know how you move, bro. I know you don't got no paper hands, and I know how they don't shake you out no positions. You stay down to the T, you stay rooted and everything else, bro. And I admire it a lot when it comes to you, my boy. So if it does lose 94, 91, if I were you with knowing how you move and how you trade and invest, bro, then I wouldn't really go heavy at any of these areas. If that be the 95, what's the top of this whole box, this whole range right here? This whole range is 94, 97 to 95.64. I wouldn't really go too heavy in that range. Reason being, because if it does come back down and look at this wick right here, which coincides with these two wicks, and it also coincides with, well, almost coincide with the resistance of this candle and then the support area of that one, but then resistance is right there. So that's where I probably would end up personally really going super heavy at 94.41, but still, this whole range in between 95.64 and 93.85 isn't really a bad spot, if you ask me, on Walmart. And if I was to go with some of the technicals of Walmart right about now, I mean, outside of the ones I just put, let's reset the chart. We got the 50 SMA curling down on the 2 hour. I don't know. I know I'm on 2 hours. I zoomed in. So the 4 hour, we got the 50 SMA starting to curl right below our other fair value gap. And it's starting to curl over. And as it does this, we also have, if you see right here, this candle is the body of the candle failed to get back above this area after it gapped down. And also, if we look and notice here, this area here was an area that was a resistance. And then when we gapped up here to the top of that range, it became support. And if you look at the wick of this candle here, that not the body, because the body's below the 50 SMA, but the wick itself almost rejected at the bottom of that zone, of that gap, bro. So even once we do go back up to the upside, we have to keep in mind where the 50 SMA is at, but also keep in mind this area right here, which is um yeah, I think December call is gonna be good, especially with what Powell said. Because the consumer stocks and consumer discretionary stocks, like Amazon is the top holder, and I think in the XLY. Um, and I don't never understood why Tesla's in the consumer discretionary, but Tesla's in there too, which we're gonna talk about Tesla setup in a second. But I think December call is gonna be good, bro. Like real good for Walmart, especially with this pullback, man. We already know how it goes, man. You know what I mean? You don't never chase. We buy in and do that. You know what I mean? That's what we got from Walmart. But we'll cover that more in the Discord, bro. You know what I'm saying? So now going back to what we looking at, we did UNH, we did LYFT, AMD, Palantir, Tesla, Intel. We already did Oscar. So AMD. Now I can't remember the call I did on AMD. Well, not me, but I alerted the Discord about it. And my chart is crazy because they got a lot going on with AMD, boy. Look at that Thursday, August 7th gap up. And I made two standard fair value gaps right here. The darker the red, the heavier that area gonna be. The lighter the red is the area I feel like we'll be able to really do our thing and get up in there. So let's go to the 30 minute because we can really look at it on a better scale. So as you see, we held this tight range of motion right here, or maybe this was tight range of motion. Yeah, because this here's the Thursday August 7 gap up. So after that gap up we had and we came back down and we held right above the tight range of motion on AMD, and we ended up reclaiming, and we was in this tight range here, meaning we were above, we were back inside that Thursday gap up zone, but then we rejected off of the trend line, came and held that zone again. We had this nice spike right here from Powell that held there, but look where it rejected that trend line. So what I'm looking for AMD to do, as well as we look at the MACD is showing us um, basically a positive trajectory, positive look right about now. And then a 50 SMA is also showing us on the 30 minute. And I think even on a higher time frame, let's go to back to the 4 hour real quick. So on the 4 hour, the 50 SMA is still curling upward. MACD is curling upward, as you can see. Well, well, if I don't freaking draw all over my screen, all right, I have to pull this back up. Well, we can't really do that. Anyway, let's move this thing over. So as you see, the MACD is curling up. So now the sellers are kind of being exhausted. MACD is curling up. That 50 SMA is above that 169.03. And going back down, let's go to the 1 hour. If you look, that 169, and this MACD look even better on the hour time frame. So everything for me on AMD, like if I was to go long on any semiconductors this week, AMD would be the one. Nvidia has earnings. Oh, and Intel. We'll get to that one in a second. But sticking with AMD, the 50 SMA on the 1 hour is not pointing down as much anymore, as if it may come down and respect that 169.03 and then curl back upward. That's one. Two, we held above this Thursday, August 7th gap down area, and now we're right below that trend line. So if price can get above this trend line and stay above that trend line and then get above 169.03, for me, that's my line in the sand. And if we end up retesting that 169.03, that's probably where I will go long. Although I believe I alerted an option play on AMD when I thought we was going to have that. That's good. UNH. I got, again, like I told you, I got smoked on my UNH. Where's that AMD, dog? Smoked again. I get tired of looking at that, how I got smoked on that thing. Because I may do this for myself. Now, see, this was a lotto bounce play. October 195, only because I thought that it was really like this here was gonna be like maybe 100, 200% for me personally. So I may still even look at that. But what I really would like to do on AMD is if we end up again getting above that 169.03, my first target really is looking for like that 172 to 173 zone, but I think AMD has the power to go at least to this 175, possibly. Um, if we get above the trend line and mount that 169.03. Now to the downside, I don't really see much, but if we were to pull back again, with the market possibly pulling back, and I want to pull up Weeble to see what we're looking like on there. But if the market was to pull back, then what I'll be looking for is either a retest of that 162.79 because we held that so well last week, or an official retest of this tight range of motion and come right about in here to that 159 zone, 158 zone. If we get there, that's where I really would be more confident on pulling out some leaps. But even right now, what I see with the chart, it looks pretty good to me. While we on semis, Intel is another one, and the reason why I really like watching this one, because I don't really like Intel. I hate them with a passion, kind of. But with, or I dislike them, and use that word. I know they say hate, strong word. So I dislike them. And the reason being is because, man, this stock has been such a lagger. It has been terrible, just terrible. But ever since Trump administration took stake in this company, and I believe they did something else with Intel. Let's go to Catalyst Boosters. It was something else. Yeah, right here. The U.S. government acquires 433 million shares, a 9.9% stake at $20 a share, basically. And this was just the other day on August 22nd. So in regards to that, that's the reason, only reason why I'm kind of playing not AMD, Intel. And we already got some call options. I think the ones I'm in now, I think I'm up like maybe 30%. I think the expiration is like October. Came in with a strike. Again, the link is below for the Discord if you guys want to join. 50% off. Use the promo code drop50. But outside of that, and they got two different tiers. Matter of fact, one is 14.99, which is just the Discord, and then the 24.99 is option plays, sniper alerts, everything else, all that good stuff. But anyway, with Intel, if and once we stay above this 24.98, I really want to, not really want them. I think my call options I got is for a $28 strike. So that's what I got for Intel. While I like them. Now Tesla, I'm gonna do Tesla. And I'm gonna do Palantir. Again, if anybody want to look at any charts, let me know what's up. Now Tesla, on the other hand, I've been talking about this one for, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks now, because I thought the last time we got about at 331, which was a gap up, I thought we would probably test 331 and then go higher. But unfortunately, we came all the way down and test this trend line as well as the 50 SMA on the daily. Now you see this massive pop we got from J Powell pumping the market that day. So now Tesla for me, we get above this trend line. Let's go to the 2 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. So let's reset that. Boom. Now we get above this trend line on Tesla. That's where I think really, or even retest the 50 SMA and at 331, or maybe even at 335. At 335 really is the ideal support. You can see right here, this gap up area, it held, hit the rejection spot and the trend line, came down, held, went back to the rejection spot and the trend line, came down, held again, and then it went to this line in the sand where we're at right now, which I'm gonna draw as a line in the sand for myself. That's not a golden zone. Let's correct that. This could be a golden zone. We ain't gonna worry about that right now, because at the end of the day, I see us possibly getting above that 339. But before I do that, let's say now we lost that 335 zone and came below. When we got back above, if you guys look right there, let's zoom in a little bit. You look right here, when we got back above that 335, this is why when it comes to large cap, Tesla and Amazon, I don't think we've looked at Amazon, but Tesla and Amazon is my top two watches thanks to Jay Powell and consumer discretionaries. But look how we held that 335 area on Tesla. Now the contract I think is super expensive. So I know a lot of folks be trading TSLL. I never even charted this thing, but it's basically like a mini version of Tesla. We go to the daily chart, that candle is crazy. And I think if we get above this 1305, basically, on TSLL this coming week, or if we're already above that area, I may play options on this one instead of the other one. And I think I may do like I was looking, I can't remember what I was looking at for strikes, but I definitely would probably do either a $12 in the money, or I'll do, if I wanted to go out the money, it'll probably be maybe 15 at best, the highest. But if not, like yeah, I would say basically a 14, 15. I wouldn't go anything higher than 16. And if I did, that would never would surely be dated, if you ask me, on Tesla. Now, PLTR, we bodied this thing in the Discord. And if I was to go to, I don't even know, let's go to the 1 hour. On a 1 hour time frame, nope, let's go to the four. So on a 4 hour time frame, when we first looked, well, I've been charting this thing here, but when we first looked at Palantir in the Discord, and I think we go to chart request for that one. Um, yeah, August 19th, no trade zone between here and there. Golden zone 143.34. And as you see, this was I just drew this chart before we had any moves. Because it was in the chart request. Somebody requested it. Shout out to I forgot. I think Aries requested this. But after we did all of this and we went to the golden zone, boom, you know, there you go. They're waiting for the golden prices. Next thing you know, here you go. We got that drop. Came down here, got the drop, a clean bounce off that golden zone right there, that 141. And the reason why I decided to do calls for 162.50 in the Discord the day before Powell was speaking, for one reason, it was a hedge for my shorts, which my Robinhood shorts did pretty good. But we go to the 30 minute. What I seen was how after we hit the golden zone and we got back to this 155 area, now we were in the sniper fair value gap. But when we held this 155 right here, I was targeting us to get to that 158. But I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and risk it for the biscuit. And we went ahead and went for the 162.50 call option, which it actually struck. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I got out too early because once it went from wherever this was at when Powell spoke up to I think like 160 and pulled back a little bit. I said, nah, I'm out of here. I'm gone. And I closed my position. Next thing you know, the contracts went even higher because it went in the money for a brief second. So the reason why I'm liking this now is on a 30-minute time frame. I mean, a couple of time frames I like Palantir. But if Palantir can hold above the sniper fair value gap area right about here, just holding this area and then go higher, and maybe not even that many days because we just had that massive pullback and that massive gap fill on Palantir. If it ends up doing that, that'd be sweet. But what I'm noticing is the 50 SMA starting to curl and inside the sniper fair value gap, which could also play as double support, as well as that 155.24 zone. And if we do get a pop to the upside, then that's where, I mean, we got this area right here, clear as day, that 164.68. But if we get above that 164.68, then that's where I'll target the type of this top of this right here, that 169.45 or 168. And then see if we can get back into that 173.29 area line in the sand. But that's why I'm watching Palantir. And then closing out real quick, I'll look at Amazon because Amazon is one of my nice plays I really like to watch, especially after it gapped down from their earnings, held the critical level up. I know, my bad, I typed the wrong interval in, and held it. So once we gapped down and held in that royalty zone and held that trend line, and we respected the trend line, popped up, then we respected that 219.81. I didn't get in there, but when it got up here, I was highly upset. But then boom, here we go here, and then that's the 4 hour. If we were to go to let's go to the 1 hour or even the 30 minute. But look at the 1 hour. This here is on Friday when Jay Powell spoke. Look how we didn't even touch the bottom of that trend line at all. And we got above it. And now we're above that critical area of 226. With the 50 SMA curling up, the MACD is a little overextended, but that's with everything right about now, which is why I am anticipating a pullback. Not that I'm bearish, because I even said in the Discord when we went down. Overall, we still was in the bull train, point blank period. The bulls were still in full control. Um, And pullbacks are granted, they're healthy for the market and they're even healthier for you to go long, period. So with this right here, holding above that 226 zone and the 50 SMA curling upward, I would like to see us get, I'm about to do this now just for my own reference, but you guys can do it yourselves. Also, body to body instead of doing wick to wick. This area right here is an area that I'm gonna do a light pink or a light red basically. If you could get above that 230 zone to 231.29 or even 231 period, that's a little range right there that we could go and see if we can do something such as this, pull back to that 50 SMA or even 226 and then come up and reject right there and then hold the top of this area right about here and then come up there and then do something like that and then get above that 231.09. I see us heading to 232 to 233.18, which is the top of that wick, other wick, and then possibly back to all-time highs of 240. But that's what I got for you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Um, let's do a quick roll through though. As I looked over here at the mega cap, and let's look at the 4 hour. We just gonna, I ain't gonna give you guys much levels. I'm just gonna say what I see. I see the MACD on NVIDIA curling up. We are holding that 50 SMA. So that does look a little ideal on that on NVIDIA. Google, I've been telling everybody Google. Once Google break over that royalty zone or that 184, 185 zone, it was going to 200 real quick. As you see, went to 200, now to 206. My ultimate target for Google in the short term is 209 to 212, but in the long term, definitely within the next 12 months, if not next 6 months, Google may be at 250. Who knows? That's not financial advice. Don't take it as that. Don't sit and say Flacco told me Google on 250. So you buy some crazy out the money calls. That ain't on me. That's on you. Um, Apple held 223. I really wanted us to come back to 221. But at the end of the day, still looking pretty good. Now the MACD is still looking kind of weak though, so we could come fill this gap up and then come test 221 and a 50 SMA on Apple. Amazon, we already just covered just now. Tesla, we also covered. Microsoft, we did not cover, but at the end of the day, we covered in the last couple of live streams. What I don't like is the 50 SMA curling this way sideways as it was going up for a while because we may end up coming back into that 517 area, which is where I went short all last week, and we crushed this one, man. We crushed this one too to the short side. Once we broke that 200 moving average on the 4 hour chart, it was a wrap. But Microsoft, I mean, I'm waiting for 491 maybe before I go long again, but we'll see how this thing acts. QQQ already covered the NASDAQ. I'm expecting kind of a pullback, but at the same time, we get above this area here. We could go back and retest all-time highs on QQQ. SPY, same thing as the ES, just super strong. Look at that freaking candle right there. Hold it 50 SMA on the 4 hour. It's crazy. MACD look like it's about to cross back above the signal line right here. So that's also crazy. Meta. Now we did our thing on Meta, but at the end of the day, we wanted this full gap fill. Don't look like it's going to happen. I'll go to the 2 hour real quick. The MACD is crossing upward, and the 50 SMA is going sideways and kind of curling upward a little bit on Meta. But if Meta cannot reclaim, let's just say right here, this sniper fair value gap, the bottom of that 759.70. So let's just say 760 to 762. Or it could retest the 50 SMA, but let's just say 760 to 767. If Meta finds weakness in there, then it may come back down to retest it 739.40, 730, not even 737. Let's do 735. I don't even know where that's going to be at. Yep, that's about right there. 734.86. And then maybe fill that gap to the downside on Meta. Don't know. We already did ES. Where is that at now? 6484, still flat. 23579, still flat. XRP actually did good on Friday, but it's actually doing okay too. Good 50 SMA is holding up. MACD is kind of pointing downward on XRP, but we'll see what's happening. Avalanche, I just watched it just because. Litecoin fell back below that 120, rejected that 125. Crazy. And we below the 50 SMA. So I don't know about crypto right now, looking pretty weak. Solana looking good. Oh my goodness, though. What in the what? I've looked at this thing in forever. My 4 hour chart don't look, didn't make no difference. All right, daily chart. Yeah, that thing looking strong, boy. That thing looking real strong. Good above 210 on Solana. It may continue higher. ETH, I haven't charted ETH since it made this crazy move from 3,300. But I already said in the Discord, man, ETH is probably going to 8K to 12K fairly quick. BTC still finding weakness, but at 112 though, so that's ideal. But at the same time, the MACD curling downward on the daily, below the 50 SMA on BTC. So that's all I got for you guys though, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Don't forget the promo code in the Discord. But for the Discord, but much love. We out.